Welcome to the social circle where creators come together to turn ideas into impact and goals into a reality. I am Candace, and this is
Jennifer, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for joining us wherever you are in the world. We really appreciate you being here. I am super pumped about this because today's topic is something that I know everyone struggles with. I know I have done this myself, and I am very excited to help you guys walk through it. Candace, what are we talking about today?
consistency. Because
Yes.
listen, oh gosh, everybody says be consistent. Everybody says be consistent, but nobody tells you what the heck that looks like
Yep.
and how to do it when you're living life, right? Because life isn't easy. Both of us, we've got kids, we've got businesses, you have a full-time job, life, marriage, mental load, grief, even for, I've had to go through that a couple times since we started this business. And the point is, you want to be consistent and you want to show up, but not at the cost of your own sanity. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about consistency and in a way that works for you. Well, Jennifer and I have always said this consistency is your level of consistency. Your level of consistency might be different than mine, and Jennifer's might be different than mine, and everybody else might be different than you. So let's talk about consistency.
For sure. And I think the one thing we want to kind of bust here is that lie of what consistency actually is. And what it is not is posting every single day. It does not mean, showing up the same way every day. And it definitely does not mean to burn yourself out. You got to be successful and
Mm,
consistently show up every day. What it really means is stay in the game,
yeah.
essentially. Like that's the nuts and bolts of being consistent is don't start and then stop for a week and a half or 3 weeks and then come back again. Because in that time, the reason that you want to stick with, showing up at least 3 times a week, bare minimum, once a day, 3 times a week, if you can, on whatever. I'm currently preferring being on Instagram. And so I know Instagram is not very nitpicky about being consistent. I know other platforms like Facebook, you do need to post every single day. Otherwise, it
TikTok's the
starts to
same
mess with
way.
stuff. Yeah.
TikTok's the same way with consistency. They'll start pushing your content out more when you're consistent. Same with YouTube.
See, and every platform is different. So once you decide, or you have already decided, and you're just trying to work it out, I know Candace grew many of her accounts by using a third party helper, which is repurpose.io,
Yep.
and that automatically posts
Repurpose.io. I
because it was
love
scheduled.
repurpose.io.
Yeah, the schedule helped you out. Now, me,
Yeah.
I just wanted to grow specifically only on one platform because I wanted to understand it and master it in such a way. But essentially, you can't just disappear for 3 months because you ended up going too hard every single day, 10 times a day. Because I did that and it did burn me out. And it did feel very frustrating. One, because I wasn't understanding the best way to post with my busy life, full-time, employee, mom, wife, all the things. And it's just the people winning aren't posting the most. They're the ones who just never gave up. You cannot give up on this kind of thing because this is if your why is strong enough, the how is irrelevant.
Yeah. And that's so true. I mean, and you've tested it. You've tested posting what, 50 to 20 times a day or something? It was
It
some
was 10 times
crazy
a day
number.
for 30 days and it it
Yeah.
did not it did not feel good for me. It was more pressure on me. Again, with my life, my kids, the age that they were, it was just very stressful for me and I did feel the burnout. And so
Yeah.
I did had to cut myself down to 5 times a day, and even that felt a lot. So for me and my schedule, it was eventually. I know that there's one previous guest that we've had on, Shannon McKinstry. She only posts, I think, 5 times a week, and she
Yes.
always is taking every weekend off, and that's her schedule. And she only posts once a day, I think she said.
Yeah.
It might differ. It looks different for everyone. The point here is that if everything in your life falls apart tomorrow, what would be the minimum amount that you think you could still show up with?
Yeah. And this is a great time to introduce our circle hack. And our circle hack, guys, is just a little bite-sized piece of information that hopefully you can take and use today. And it's a simple framework, right? Pick something that works for you. 2 to 3 posts per week, one platform. Like Jennifer said, her focus is Instagram. I was able to grow other accounts using repurpose.io, which is linked in the show notes. It's always linked in the show notes because it's we've monetized two YouTube so far using repurpose.io. So, and then one content style. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to overthink it, which I know you will, but you don't need to, right? Your level of consistency. That's what you have to find. And if you start with 2 to 3 posts per week on one platform with one content style, and you decide, okay, you know what? I can do 5 posts a week on two platforms, right? And you build up to it. But just start with a really simple, the circle hack is 2 to 3 posts per week, one platform to focus on, and one content style. Again, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Like, example, you're going to do two reels, a talking video, and then that's it. You're done. That's your week. You're going to do two B-roll reels and one talking video in 7 days. I'm pretty sure you can accomplish that, right?
Yeah,
Then you start adding on. Again, this is your baseline. This is not the maximum amount that you can do every week. This is your baseline to start from. And you don't need the perfect plan, but you need a plan that you can stick to. And
for
20
sure.
videos a day or 10 videos a day, like Jennifer was doing, she wasn't able to continue doing that. It's a lot of work. It's a
It
lot of
was.
work.
Right. And I was compromising, I'll be straight up. I was compromising my resting time. So I was not sleeping as much as I should because I would stay up for at least 1 to 2 hours after the kids had gone to bed and trying to get the content posted, waking up early to do other things. And then during my work day, because I work from home on my computer, I was taking time away from my work. And I was noticing that that was kind of impeding on that, and it didn't feel great. So it put me in this mindset of, well, it's not working, so I have to stop. I think that's where it just started to feel I didn't need to post less, but I also had to post smarter. And that's
Yeah,
something that a lot of us overlook. We only hear about this consistency. Just show up every day. Show up 5 times a
right.
day. No.
Right.
Post
So
smartly when
true.
you're doing it. If you're randomly posting, if you're choosing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, because that's just the way your life is working out, and it's the 2 to 3 reels, right? Then you need to do it intentionally with those kinds of content, those pieces of
Yeah.
content.
And I have been so guilty of that.
Same.
Even recently, because kind of switched my schedule up and I used to do all my social media in the morning, but now I'm trying to answer emails and messages from brands. So it's because the brands are still awake. A lot of them are overseas, right? So I try and do that in the morning so we can kind of go back and forth. And I have posted random stuff and it never does well for me unless I just repeat something that I know has done well in the past, which I'm also guilty of, which isn't a bad thing, but like 3 intentional posts are definitely going to be better than 7 random ones during the week.
I
And
totally agree with that.
living proof of that.
And it's been tested. We've tried and tested it, both Candace and myself. And I noticed that when the random content didn't perform very well, obviously, for obvious reasons, I didn't put in the research, I didn't analyze correctly. I was missing out a lot of steps when I was posting just anything just to get the post out, just to hope for virality,
Yep.
rather than taking that extra time to do the research, check up, what is currently trending, what is something that I can utilize right now that will help me with my content improvement. And it got to be a lot, guys.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be real
hey,
honest.
burnout isn't a badge of freaking honor. Like, burnout isn't like, hey, I'm burned out. It's usually a sign that what you're doing is broken. Your system is broken. Your consistency is broken because you're burning out from it. So, like, break it into just 3 buckets, right? Your connection, which is like your relatability, your real life, your stories, your thoughts, and then any value, tips, lessons, things that are going to help other people out. And then you've got your conversion. It's like top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, right?
Yeah.
Connection, relatability is at the top. provide your value in the middle, and then your conversion is at the end.
Your
So,
sales pitches should be the last kind of content you worry about. The
yeah.
push, and this is where I think Candace and, or at least me, I'll speak about me. When I was just beginning out, all I ever did was try to push the sale, the
Yep.
conversion, without having learned how to actually have a community to sell to. So,
Yeah.
those are those things that we're always trying to help you guys understand, that it's very important to, and this is where I got it so backward. I need to learn to bring in everybody who may or may not even like you. You just
Right.
got to get their attention, to stop and look and then say, oh, okay, well, there's another content piece here that looks like it's actually going to tell me what this person is all about. Oh, okay. And then down the line, there's another one that's actually, this is the thing this person can do for me. So
Yeah.
it, if you can only say post 3 times this week, make sure that every single post that you post has its individual job. You
Right.
don't want to
From the
just be
top of the
random.
funnel to the bottom,
Exactly.
right? Absolutely. And how can we create systems, right? Because we all have a system. You're just starting out creating content. You probably don't have a solid system yet, but you will get there. And listening to this and listening to how Jennifer and I do it will help you out. But you don't you don't need you just need a system. And that's how you get your level of consistency. So, for example, batching content. Have a day where you batch. Have a
Mm-hmm.
day where, right, each day you worry about something else.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna record a bunch, like 5 talking videos this day, right? Because you got to be in the mood for that. You got to be in the mood to do that. You can't just, right? You can't just be like, oh, it's time for me to do those talking videos, because
Yeah.
people will tell. Have a content bank. Jennifer and I have a content bank. We have a folder on Instagram that we share together that we throw stuff in for inspiration. Charlie and I also, my husband and I also have the same thing. I have my legit, no kidding content that I know will go viral every single time, whether it's the text, whether it's the video. Those are things that you get by just putting in the reps, honestly. And I know, Jennifer, you've got your
Um,
content bank that these
yeah.
things, these sayings will always hit, this video will always hit, XYZ. And then repurposing.
Yes.
Repurposing things is okay. If you don't hear anything else in this podcast today, please understand that repurposing stuff is okay. I feel like we were guilty of this, and I have talked to so many creators over the last 4 years. They're like, oh, I can't post that again. I posted it 5 months ago. Nobody remembers. Nobody
Exactly.
remembers. Great example is I posted my first video from my things I refuse to do at my age. I posted the first one again last night because I'm like, okay, I've done my 30. Now I've got this bank of ones that I know that can perform well. And boom, I just repurposed it. And it's tagged at the top of my dang profile in my reels. Nobody has said anything about like, oh, this is a repeat. It's already on here. People don't pay attention to that.
And it's also not simply reposting a reel that did well. It is reconfiguring or reconstructing that very well done piece of content. Can you take the reel that did so well and turn it into a thread, or what is it, the other one,
Carousel.
X? Yeah, or a carousel.
Oh,
Or can
yeah.
you do a speaking video from that? Can you change the style of format from the one thing that did so supreme? If you're able to do that, you are golden. You are
Yeah.
just able to, and this is along the lines of evergreen content as well. So
Hmm.
this is something that is very easily repeatable. You can throw it in with your scheduling of, if you can only do it so many times a week, repeat yourself on the things that do well. I cannot stress that enough. That is what helps to grow your content, your community, so much faster than thinking you have to do something brand new every idea. Let's cut that out.
Yeah, it's true. We were so guilty of that. And I feel like everybody's kind of got to go through that. But
Yeah.
I remember the messages back and forth with Jennifer trying to figure out how, yeah. I mean, it's okay to repurpose and repost content. Like, it's okay to do that. If you have a video that did well, like Jennifer said, put it in thread. put it in a carousel, make carousel out of it. And it doesn't have to be a fancy Canva carousel. Take a picture and put the same picture with different
Yep.
text
Yep.
multiple times. It's we always overthink it as content creators, and nobody is looking at your content with your same lens.
Not at all.
They're truly not. And the overthinking is really, I mean, the
It's
overthinking,
stopping you.
I have seen people quit
Yeah.
from.
It's a stopping point. I think what you
Amen.
got to end yourself with reminding that your best content doesn't come from inspiration. It
Mm,
comes from the systems that you develop. And those
mhm.
systems you develop come from the practice, putting in the rep, doing the hard thing, and
Yep.
just showing up consistently on your level of consistency.
Yes, that's what yes, girl. Yes. Creators don't quit because they're not good. Like they quit because they're freaking exhausted.
Yeah,
And they're not, and they're setting too high expectations for themselves and overthinking it when it doesn't get to that point. Like
for sure.
everybody's path, everybody's road is different.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what do you do when life goes off the rails? This has happened to me a couple of times in the last 4 years
I
doing
like
this.
I like bringing that topic up because it's one, it's a good time to look back at your last 30 pieces of content. If you feel in the moment that you had to take that break, that's the time to, is this your purpose anymore? Question
Yeah.
things. Is this where you really want your content going? Are you really truly not understanding how to do something? Do you need to go back and kind of refresh your memory on how or what, all of the things that we've already discussed in our past tip episodes. But this is just the time for you to be real for yourself, number one, because I'll honestly say if you are uncomfortable or it just, you don't feel right with what you're talking about in your content, we know it from the screen. We can see it when we're looking at
Oh
you.
yeah.
And then we
Mm,
don't even want to come back. If you're not happy with what you're talking about, why would we? So remember that about that kind of thing. You can always, as honest as you want to be about your own personal life, you can create content around that. And there's
mhm.
no shame in that. There's nothing wrong in that. That's actually considered your top of funnel anyway to bring in the attention and
Yeah.
get eyes on your account, number one, because that's what you're trying to do here. That's your goal. That's your focus, is eventually you want to funnel down into a sale in the long run. But before you can
Mhm.
have that sale, you have to have that community of people who be like, I get Candace. I totally understand the life that she's living right now because it's similar to my own. That's where it's okay to do these kinds of things. You are allowed to pull back, Candace, right?
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes you have to.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to. Your consistency may change from one moment to the next. When we lost our grandson last year, yeah,
Yeah.
I had to pull back a lot. And I feel like I never actually caught up from there, but I'm in my level of consistency now. I was posting like 3 to 5 times a day. I was, on it, but things change and things shift. And I obviously had to pull back and get some help. Luckily I had Jennifer that did some collab videos with me and kind of kept me afloat during that time. But you can shift your content temporarily. You can change your content and test new things,
Hmm.
right? Like life happens and you don't have to tell everybody everything, but you don't have to explain everything that's going on. But, these are people that are following you. So you want to kind of let them know what's going on, even if it's in your stories, right? Because you're trying to connect with a community of people. So,
I agree with that. I think if that's what is going on in your life right now, but you still kind of want to have a following, small or large, you can always just share in there. This is going on in my life right now. I'm going to take a step back. I guarantee you're going to have people that are rooting you on because they've fallen in love with you. That's why they're following you. That's why they're the dedicated people in your stories, watching and waiting for the next important piece to come up. I think that when, life does get chaotic, a thing to remember is that you can post shorter content. It does not need to be this lengthy, drawn on piece of whatever it is. You can reuse old content. I think we had a community member from our social circle group. She was saying, I just feel so stressed out. I can't create anything new right now because I'm in this moment of life that I'm just unable to be creative. We were making sure she understood, reuse something that is already done well, repost that. If you cannot reformat it and make it something different, just do it again. Just repost it for the whole week if you feel like it, or whatever, right? It's nothing wrong with that. You need to talk about what you are able to handle, because chances are whoever you're talking to on the other side of the screen, they're very similar to you in that manner. And they might need to hear you say it to kind of have that permission to go and do the same thing. It's not that bad. Again, I'm not saying you have to show up and cry every day, or however you feel like letting your emotions out. It's just another way to community build and to maintain what you already built, with allowing yourself the time you need to step away from it. And again, we mentioned staying visible inside your stories or posting on threads. I know Instagram has threads now. If you're on X, post on there. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it as honest as you want it to be. We don't need to know every detail, and that's okay. So I think one thing that we need to remind ourselves of all the time is that consistency during hard seasons might look like only one post a week, and that does count. Do not discount that opportunity to have the one post a week, because at least you're showing up and you didn't completely give in to XYZ, the world. And
Yeah. And again, that goes back to your level of consistency. And your level and my level might look different, and Jennifer's level might look different than that. And everybody is different, trying to keep up with things in their own way. There's no one perfect way to do social media. There's not. Everybody is doing something different. I watched this guy today for like 15 minutes on my phone before I realized that it was AI. Okay. Like I was in his videos and then I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is AI. So like that's his level of consistency, apparently.
what's your minimum posting?
Yeah. Ask yourself, what is the minimum amount that you're comfortable with posting every week? For me, that's at least once a day. That is my minimum, once a day. I can't and I will take the weekends off sometimes, just because we're busy, right? We have kids, life. So I try every single day before that, I'll post at least once a day, because that way I know I'm being my level of consistency and what the platforms expect from me. So
For sure.
TikTok's a little bit different. It's a couple of times a week, but Instagram every day.
And
So
again,
just
I think,
ask
go ahead.
yourself, what is your level of consistency? What is the minimum amount that you could keep up with if stuff hit the fan? If stuff hit the fan tomorrow and you were posting 5 times a day and then realized, oh crap, I can't do that anymore because of whatever.
Exactly. And I think if you're questioning anything, or if you do have any concerns, or you just want to talk it out a little bit more, you are invited into our social circle, guys. We do have
Absolutely.
this community on the school platform. And if you are interested in coming in and chatting with us, please drop a comment below VIP. We will definitely send you some more information on that. And I also have to end this with, consistency is built into the real life that you are living, and
Mm,
it does not have to be perfect conditions to post. You do not. That's actually the worst to do. We want to see the authentic you. We don't want to see you behind all of this fancy stuff. And
right.
I just want to know you. So however you can show up in your content, make it be for how you can do it, because we see everything else that's going on. Just be as consistent as your life will let you be.
I mean, that's a great ending. And I hope everybody, after you hit that subscribe and like and do all of the things, has a great week.
Have a great week, everybody.